Welcome to another episode of Reboot Coach in the Porsche. Today we're going to talk about why you keep going back to that up behavior. Ugh. That behavior that does you no good, that fills you with shame, but you can't help it because there's some emotions that you don't know how to deal with. For the past couple of years, I've been trying to move to a very specific city. I've been trying to buy a home there. And every time I'll come across the perfect home, or what I think is the perfect home, it's got a home gym. Yeah, that's the first thing. So I don't have to drive to the gym, and I'm an introvert. It's got a big library, beautiful office overlooking these gorgeous grounds. Everything is like so good to be true. I'm like, man, and this is within my budget as well. And then I'll look at the flood zone. It's one of these cities that actually floods, one of these cities that gets hit with hurricanes, and it's just built in a weird way. And the flood zone is just wrong. Like when it floods, it's going to destroy that home. And those homes, the perfect homes I keep finding, have been renovated so many times. Do you guys ever wonder why some people will live in a city that they know is susceptible to natural disasters? Like every 2 years, something wipes out half the city, but they still stay there. Sometimes they're displaced, sometimes they'll come back, they'll rebuild, they'll just keep living there. There's a lot of space in these United States. You can move to Wyoming and Montana and all these, there are lots of other places to move, but why do they stay there? Because it's home. It's what they know. It's where they're comfortable. It's where they have roots. It's where they know people. It's where the sights and the sounds and the smells elicits a specific set of emotions for them. But this translates to you as well, because the reason you keep going back to that behavior that is so destructive, you is because of your emotional home. You are comfortable with your emotional home, even though your emotional home is a place that floods. It's a place that experiences earthquakes. It experiences all kinds of disasters. But you won't leave because it's what you know. You are so deeply attached to it. I know you've seen people on TV. It's like, well, why would they keep living in this place that's completely decimated all the time? Why don't they just move? It takes so much effort to pick your up off the ground and rebuild. Why? Why would you keep staying there? Why would you keep rebuilding every year? Are you ready to move? I moved. And I'll be honest with you, I've kept moving internally. Because I'm a person who, for some reason or the other, my emotional home had all the disasters. Had all the disasters. And sometimes I just live in the disaster. I was just like, it's normal to live in a state of depression. It's normal to live in a state of constant anxiety, just walking around anxious as That's how I was most of my early to mid 20s. I did not even know this till I started doing the work to move, to pack my stuff, arrange it, sometimes neatly, sometimes not so neatly, throw them in a box and move somewhere else that was sunnier, that was more stable, that had people who were still people. They were human beings, but they were not chaotic. They were not used to also living in a chaotic environment. I stopped seeking them and I stopped bringing those type of people into my life. It became very difficult. It becomes very difficult to do that when you are in a safe emotional home, when you've changed your environment, right? So I'd like you guys to think about that, especially if you're struggling with some sort of addictive behavior. Although I specialize in men who deal with compulsive behaviors, this does apply. This applies across the board. So I'd like to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Describe your emotional home. My emotional home was anxious, depressed, low self-esteem, and definitely the biggest one was deeply insecure. I had a poor self-image. I'd love to know what yours is, Bella.